Hi guys, it's Amy with Aim to Plan, and today I am back on YouTube with my April planner lineup. So I, first of all, will apologize for being away from YouTube for a little while. The middle of March going into the end of this month has been really crazy. I have picked up several work projects and ended up transitioning to a different position in my job. So there's just been lots happening. I picked up several additional kind of I don't know how to describe it. It's not really side hustles, but they're like additional jobs, contract positions. So it's just been a lot of work. I have pretty much been working or taking care of my kids, and that's about it. I did, in the month of March, move into a digital planner as well, and so I haven't recorded a lot of videos just because I was doing digital planning. I will need to at some point do a video on how I set up my March, but that will be for another day. Today, I'm going to be talking about my planner lineup. I do have all of my planners right here, kind of, it's still on screen, but like far enough away that I can access everything and be able to talk to you about what I have for my planner lineup. What I think I'm going to do is keep it fairly straightforward in that I'm going to move back into what I was using for February, for January and February, but I'm going to simplify it and focus less on the weekly planning and more so on the monthly planning and some of the things that I need to keep track of from month to month. So we'll get into that and kind of talk about what that might look like for each of the planners that I use. I do have several planners here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One of these planners does have two planners in there, so there's a total of 12 planners, and I'm going to talk to you about all of them, and we'll just kind of dive into it. So first of all, actually, I said that there's one planner that has two planners in it, but I do have two planners here that have multiple planners, and I'm using a box right now to like kind of hold these things up. But these two planners right here, hopefully things don't fall over. These two planners right here are my girls' memory books. So I do have one for Rose, who is 1 year old. She's a 1 year old. And then I have the one for Sophia. Now both of these are what I consider their memory books. And so I print all the photos, do the journaling, that kind of thing. Sophia's does have two planners in it. Rose also has two planners in it. I am trying to catch up with my memory planning, and so it has all of 2023 and 2024 in both books. So I have 2023 2024 in here, 2023 2024 in here. I don't consider this part of my functional planning though. I just want to give it an honorable mention that these are here, and so with these two removed and out of my lineup, I do have 10 planners that I use for my own personal functional planning. So let's see, where do we start? Actually, no. I have one more here that's not going to be, well, it is part of my functional planning, but I'll go ahead and talk about this as, you know, maybe honorable mention slash like something that's going to be put on the shelf by the end of April, hopefully. But this is my Go Wild planner. So I have here just the stickers and a Go Wild printable that I got from Lights Planner Action, and then all of the different notes that I've been taking for Go Wild. I do have a more thorough flip through of the setup that I have here, so I won't go through like what I've been doing in here. Just watch my travel planning playlist, and those Go Wild videos are on there. I do consider this part of my own personal planning, but this is something that's going to be very time specific. It will be pretty much wrapped up by the end of April. I'm excited about continuing to use it, but it will be very nice to kind of retire and archive a planner as well. So this is the first one of 10. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly, I think. All right, so I'm just pulling these randomly. This one right here is the Bridgerton planner that I got from Amazon. I have been loving this planner. I love the look of it and I love everything about it, but I was using this for my reading planner. I'll show you what this looks like in January. I didn't use the monthly at all in January, and then I didn't start it until kind of mid-January. So this is kind of what it looks like, where I was tracking what I was reading and just taking notes about the different books that I was reading. And then I noticed that over I would say maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I was taking notes and then I just kind of fell off. And so I'm not used to using a reading journal. And so what I've decided to do is, instead of using the planner itself, what I'm going to do is just use these pages that I've downloaded. And so I have in here these pages that I purchased as a printable. I don't actually remember where I got these printables, but I will link it in the description so you can see it. But this page says monthly reading, and it just helps me to keep track of like how many pages, how many minutes I read, and then I can just track the information here, and that's, I think, enough for me. There are also some yearly pages that I don't have in here. Actually, no, wait, I do have them in here. So there's some yearly pages here. There's a bookshelf, which I have not updated yet, but there's the bookshelf. There's a yearly reading tracker. Again, I haven't updated this. I only did it for January. Some yearly stats that I, again, did just for January. I'm going to go back in and try to fill it out for February and for March, and then pick it back up with April. I haven't filled out the book of the month. Here's a yearly wrap up with how many books I read. And I think that's it for the yearly pages. And so the rest of this is just the stuff from the Happy Planner. But I think I'm going to go ahead and just kind of cancel out the Happy Planner part of it and just use the printables that I have. Again, this monthly reading page, and just keep it very simple for my reading tracking, just because I do like taking notes, but I also like to read very quickly through things, and so stopping and taking notes about things, it was kind of slowing me down, and so that's my plan for my reading journal. All right, so that was planner number 2. Let me just grab this one. So this one is my budget planner. So first things first, in terms of what I did here, I did update this to expanders, because one thing that I did do was add in these kind of cash envelopes to track my different categories. And just like what I'm doing for my reading planner, what I noticed is that I'm using this SOLIGT, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a budget planner from Amazon. And what I noticed is that in January, I didn't do the day-to-day, like daily expenses and tracking everything I spent. In February, I tried that and it worked out okay. But I think that for the month of March, I'm just going to focus again just on the monthly budget and the monthly pages portion of it, rather than the day-to-day planning. So it's going to be this monthly budget that I'm going to fill out. This calendar page I use to track any planner expenses, anything that I just want to have for YouTube, just like all the tech and planner related stuff that I use for YouTube and just for planner supplies. I like to keep that separate just because I sometimes can overspend with planner stuff, and so I just want to track it separately. And then it has like this budget review for each month, and so I'm going to go in and answer these questions. Now, between these two pages in the actual planner, the budget planner, there are some day-to-day expense tracking pages, and those pages I'm not going to put in here, but this is what I'm going to do for monthly budgeting for the month of March. There are also some yearly pages, and I know for sure I didn't put them in here. Actually, I did put them in here, but I can't show them to you because it has some numbers. But there's like a bill tracker page for the entire year. There are some debt trackers and some savings trackers that I converted just to be able to track some of those types of information. And I'm using those pages as well in March. But the heart of my budget planning will be these monthly pages. And so that's my plan for budgeting. Again, as you can hear, I think I am going to keep the planners, but I'm going to simplify it and just use mostly the monthly pages, or like the monthly components of the planners, rather than the weekly pages. So let's see this one. So this planner, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this one. So one of the things that I wanted to be able to do with this planner, this is my Chores Planner. I am using it right now, or like I've used it in January and February as like just journaling about what I did for the Declutter 365 challenge that I participate in. And I did do it pretty much all the way until like mid-February, and then kind of stopped. I didn't do it at all in March. And so I'm wondering if I should just pick it up. If I did the monthly, I feel like I would be squeezing it in here and it would be really tight. So I think for this planner, I will continue using the Simply layout. The Simply layout is basically just the dashboard layout. It doesn't have that left-hand side with the tasks. And I feel like it's small enough, like it's enough space for me just to be able to write what I have journal, or like what I have decluttered for that day. So I think I'm just gonna leave that. Yeah, I think that will be okay. So I'm going to go back to using this. I need to pick up and really get into some of the like decluttering challenges from February and March that I missed. So I'm going to be doing a lot of catch up, and I feel like this would be too little space So I'm going to go ahead and just use these pages as they are intended to be used. And so I'll show you again what that looks like here. What I do is, again, I just kind of journal about the decluttering challenge that I participate in. Sometimes I do add like extra pages just because, again, I do like to journal about it. And so if there are additional things that I want to journal about, I can add those pages in. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to use these pages, not the monthly, but the actual weekly pages as they're intended for my journaling. So that is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 journals / planners at this point. Let's get into Faith. Faith would be the 5th one here. And for Faith, what I was using was a Faith Warrior layout. So let me show you what that looks like. So it looks like this. This is what the weekly page looks like. And every week also has this kind of second page. So it's like a week on 4 pages where you get sermon notes, study notes, some like, it says loving well this week, God, others, me. There's some daily action trackers, blessings this week, and grateful for. And then again, it also has like the I guess like the soap layout from the Happy Planner. And I did not do a great job of using these pages for I was writing out verses, but I was like going back and just kind of like catching up on those things. And I did use the pages. I just feel like I wasn't very like intentional about using it every single day. And so what I'm going to do for April is I think just focus on reading these verses. These verses is a writing challenge. It's from Christian book, the Scripture Writing Challenge. And these verses in April are all about grace. I think I'm just going to read these verses and just kind of see if that will help me stay on track. I also am listening to a YouTube video, like it's a daily video. Sometimes I listen to it on YouTube, sometimes I listen to it in podcast form, but it is Heart Dive. And so I've been listening to that and studying the Bible. It's a Bible in a Year plan that Kanoe, the person who does the channel Heart Dive, she reads through the different chapters of the Bible and then gives her commentary and like her study notes from her actual personal study. And so she just kind of talks about like her study. And so I've been listening to that. And I just haven't been taking a ton of notes about it. I do take a lot of sermon notes though. So I do have to have a plan in place for taking sermon notes. And I didn't include it in here for April, but in some months, I'll show you like a previous month where this happens. I have like these coloring pages and I printed these to classic size, and I'll just use these coloring pages. I'll color it and or just take notes on the back of the page just so that way I can have pages for like studying. And so the reason I do that, just to kind of like put it out there, is since I'm trying to simplify the system, because I don't want to use every single page, I can save these pages for later. So that's kind of like always the way that I think about it, is like if I can save these pages, instead of trying to use half of it and then wasting the other half, I can just adapt and use something that I think I can use all of, and then save these pages for a later purpose. So that's kind of my thought. So like I said, what I think I'm going to do is read through these verses, continue listening to the Heart Dive podcast / YouTube channel, and then if I need to, I'll add in some coloring pages that I already have in my stash. I just didn't put it in here, but like I do have it like stored separately, and I'll just pull those in to color and to meditate on and to write on the back of it. So that's what I'm going to do with my Faith Planner. Lots of adaptation this month, like there's lots happening. Okay, now we're going to go to this planner. This is my family planner. Now I will just say I am using an outdated classic vertical layout here that I did redate, and I did not do a great job with this planner, and I think I'm just going to not use it. Okay, so again, I've redated it, but I'm just going to hold off on continuing to use this. What I was using it for was to track any text messages, phone calls, just connections with my family and friends, and that has been great. I do enjoy keeping track of and just like noting like different things that are happening in my family's life, but I don't know that I necessarily need a separate planner for it. I was just doing this because I had the extra planner, but in order to simplify, I'm going to cancel this one for the month of April. So we will put this on the shelf and not worry about it for April. If I feel like I'm missing it in April, then I'll bring it back into the mix. But for April, I'm going to delete that one. All right, 3 more planners / 4 more planners. So this one is my personal planner. And so this is like I always like to say, I have all these specialty planners on the side and the side where I kind of like talk to you about like the specialty things that I do. But my personal planner is where I write all of the events and all the tasks, the to-do list, all the little notes to myself of the things I want to do or did in that moment. That goes into my personal planner. So this is what I consider my catch-all. If you kind of use some of that language, the catch-all is where all of my random thoughts and tasks and to-dos and events and appointments and holidays and all of those types of things, they end up in here. And so for my personal planning, I do have two planners in here, one of which I'm just going to, get rid of and just pull it to the side and not use it. But I'll show you what it looks like anyway. It is this kind of vertical hourly, and this vertical hourly has been great. What I was using it for earlier in the year, let me show you in January, let me show you a page that's done, was tracking different categories of my life. And so the green is like work and social media related stuff, the pink is personal, blue is family and friend time, yellow is sleep, and then the purple is housework. And so I've just been able to kind of see in a glance, like at a larger level, where I'm kind of devoting my time. And that has been great. I've enjoyed doing this for the couple of months that I did it. I basically did it January and February. And then in March, I did switch to digital planning. And one of the digital tools that I used is basically a time tracker. Now, the time tracker only is for like my work related events, but I think that I could definitely like add on to it and include personal, housework, and social time. And so it's something where I can adapt the digital tool and be able to kind of track it a little bit more easily. It already does like some of the calculations for me in terms of like percentages, and so I don't have to manually like calculate how much family time I had and all those types of things. And so I'm going to retire this time tracking planner for April. Again, I always have the planner here, so if I want to go back to it, I can certainly do that. But for April, I'm just going to not use this part of it. So that's a second planner that I'm deleting, like my family planner, and then now this time tracking planner. I do want to continue though using my daily pages, and this is what I'm going to return to for April. These pages right here are initially they were like letter size pages, and so I cut off like right here on the margins so that way it's like the correct classic size, and then I trimmed off the top. The top part of it had like the dates, and so by trimming it I was able just to like undate it, and now what I do is just add the date. And so let me show you what it looks like here. I just basically stamped the date in here, and I like to use these pages because it's a day on 2 pages. I like to kind of like have these invisible columns where it's like column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, and one column will be for my events and like any journaling that I do. One will be for tasks and to-dos. One will be for like my food log. And then the fourth one is kind of like a loose, like free all space. So I might journal in there. Usually I just put stickers in there. And so I have these 4 columns that I kind of like write all the things in for. It does have an hourly, so it goes from 6:30 until basically it's 10:30, but basically 11 p.m., which is plenty of time for me. I'm able to track all of the things in here, and I like being able to kind of journal and have my appointments and events and to-dos and food logging and everything on here. So again, this is like what I consider my catch-all, like my actual planner. So I am going to go back to this. I do absolutely love digital planning, but I also like to write things down, and so just being able to get back in here and write in here will be very nice. But I am going to keep the daily planner, but get rid of the time tracker part of it, this part of it. And again, since I'm not using it, I'm just going to save these pages like for March and for April for other purposes. It's something I can use at a later date. So that is personal planning. Okay, 2 more planners. We're almost done. All right, this one is my social media planner. And so I didn't use it in March. First of all, because I did not record a ton of videos in March, but also because I was digital planning. But I do have the pages in here ready and set up for April. And what I have in here are basically outdated teacher layout pages. And so these pages are, let me show you. Well, where are they? they are like these pages right here, these teacher layout pages. They are outdated, so these numbers and these months don't correlate with the actual month, but I just cover up the side and date across the top anyway. And so I've been trying to use up this stash, and I'm just going to go back and use it again. Now, again, just trying to keep it to where it's a little bit simpler. What I'm going to do is, instead of doing weekly planning, I'm going to go ahead and convert this teacher layout into a full month picture. So April, like this is, let's just say this is going to be the Monday start. Okay, so if it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what I'm going to do is, instead of dating just across the top for the entire week, I'm going to start right here, April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and so on. And I'm going to use the entire weekly layout like this for the entire month. And so again, it will be simplified for social media planning, and I think that will work for me. I am, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, I'm transitioning into a new position, and so there's lots of work that I need to do. So all of my personal planning has to be as simple as possible. Okay, so that was the second to last one. The last planner is my work planner. And this is kind of fun because I am transitioning to this new position. One of the things that I need to do is consider how I'm using my work planner to its fullest benefit. I might need to record a separate video just kind of talking about this, but what I am thinking at this moment will work for me for April is to go back into digital planning and continue my digital planning, but also go back to using a regular paper planner, just because it's, you know, it's one of those things where cognitively, like psychologically, writing it down just gets my mind to remember it better. And so I'm going to go ahead and use April as it's intended. You can see here it's a big dashboard layout. This is actually a current planner. And so I'm just going to use the planner as it's intended. So for me, for the dashboard layout, like right here, I'm going to put any meetings or events that I have. Right here, I'm going to put my work hours. That's normally what I put there. And then this side will be just for tasks and projects and all the to-dos that I have, like short-term and long-term goals. That all goes on this side. And so I'm going to use this as intended. I do have like this set up for previous months. Hopefully I'm not flipping to something too crazy. I'll just give you an example though. So this is kind of what it looks like set up for a week. This is February. And so again, like tasks, not tasks, events and meetings, and then my hours, and then tasks and projects and things like that end up on this side. So that's kind of what it looks like. And yeah, okay, so I'm going to definitely use this planner, the work planner, as is. This teacher planner, I will use just like a weekly page, but make it for the entire month. I, of course, am deleting my time tracking planner, but keeping the daily pages. So just making sure I use daily pages in my life. I am deleting this family planner. I am going to simplify my faith. I'll leave everything in here, but basically just use the random coloring pages and just random pages for taking sermon notes that I need to. Of course, I have Sophia's memory book and Rose's memory book that I have to keep updated. For my chores planner, I am going to be using the Simply layout. For my budget planner, I'm going to be using the SOLIGT like monthly pages, not the day-to-day expenses, but all of the monthly and yearly pages. For the reading planner, I'm going to use just the printable that I have gotten from Etsy. And then Go Wild. That will definitely happen this month, and I need to get these pages ready. Some of them are ready, but like just continue working in this Go Wild planner so that way I can continue and enjoy my trip to Go Wild. Okay, I know that was a very big stack. I feel like I didn't take a single breath the entire time, but I hope that you enjoyed this video and just kind of me talking through what I'm planning to do for April. Always subject to change. I always like to mention that, you know, I like to change things up quite a bit. So if I change mid-month even, that's totally fine for me. But for right now, this is what I'm thinking I'm going to go into the beginning of April with. And so, yeah, I'm going to now smush them all together into an actual Frankenplanner, and we will move into the month of April with some plans and be able to put all these things together. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful to you to hear my thought process, even if it's not how exactly you plan. It's, I think, helpful to hear how other people plan. So I hope you did enjoy that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and until the next video, bye guys.